Hi, I'm Dodo60. I got a comment on my chicken stir-fry video a while ago because I'd said in the video that adding oil to the marinade for the chicken makes it more tender. The comment was basically saying that's not true. At the time, well, I found that when I use oil in marinades, the chicken tends to come out just a lot more tender and a lot nicer. So I wrote a response to that effect. But I was thinking more recently that I don't actually really know if that's true or not. Like, I haven't really done any research into it at all. So I was doing a bit of research about how proteins and oils interact with each other, and basically an oil will dissolve a protein if it's not polar. But I looked up the structure of chicken, but it's very polar, so it doesn't dissolve. It's quite hydrophilic, which means it really likes water, which means it doesn't really like oil that much, so it doesn't dissolve in oil, which basically means it doesn't become tender by oil. And this sort of surprised me a bit because I do normally find that oil improves the texture of my meat. So I decided to do some experiments. I decided to do some experiments with chicken and different marinating ingredients. So I'm going to take, I haven't decided how many, but like 5 or 6 bits of chicken the same size. I'm going to marinate them in the same volume of marinade. I'm also going to do a plain one, and then I'm going to get them all side by side and taste them one after the other and see what the difference is between the different marinades. I'll let you know the results. Okay, so here are all my little bits of chicken marinating in their little bags of marinade, or with nothing as it goes. I'm going to leave them here for 30 minutes and then get them out and cook them, basically. Hi, so I've done the experiment and I've got a nice little set of results. Now, before I did this, I did some research and I wrote down what I thought everything would do. I thought the oils wouldn't really do much. They would make it maybe a little bit softer on the outside but no impact in the middle. Thought that the soy sauce would colour the chicken and flavour it but not really do anything in terms of texture. The honey I thought would make it nice and smooth on the outside and obviously sweeten it. And the vinegars I thought would make it quite dry and quite sort of sour and acidy. What I found was that my most surprising result was that my control bit of chicken was actually, it was quite nice. I mean, it obviously didn't taste of much, but it was pretty moist. It had quite a good moistness all by itself, which is quite interesting. The olive oil did absolutely nothing in terms of texture or flavour. Maybe a little bit drier. That's the only impact that I could find with the olive oil. It didn't really do much. The sesame oil, however, was another quite surprising result. By the way, it wasn't just me doing this. There was 3 other people, including myself, so there's 4 of us tasting each individual bit, and I pulled everyone's opinions about it and wrote it down. So this is not my personal opinion, this is the group consensus, which I thought would be get rid of experimental bias a bit, because I know what I wanted the results to be and they didn't. So that was good. And yeah, the sesame one, it was a lot moister. It was really moist, it had a really nice sesame scent, and it was generally accepted to be a really nice marinade, just all by itself, just sesame oil on its own. It did make the chicken really moist, really scented. It was really lovely, which I didn't expect. I thought it would be really gross, to be honest, but it was really nice. The soy sauce, it dried the chicken a bit. It didn't do that much. It was just a little bit drier, a little bit tougher. Obviously it's very salty from the soy sauce and quite dark the whole way through. It looked lovely though, the little bit of soy sauce chicken, it looked like it had sort of glaze on top, like it had a really posh sort of fancy marinade. It didn't, it just had soy sauce, and it looked amazing. It tasted quite nice, it tasted of soy sauce. bit salty but nice and a bit dry. The honey, it was actually quite moist. It did moisten it more than the plain chicken and more than the olive oil, not as much as the sesame oil. Obviously it was very, very sweet, but it had quite a nice kind of crunch on the outside. It did, because the honey sort of caramelised a bit while it was marinating. I think that's something you probably wouldn't get if it was in a marinade, but by itself it crystallised a bit around the outside and then caramelised when it was cooking, so it did have quite a nice crunch on the outside, which was lovely. The rice vinegar, it looked really gross at every stage. When I was marinating it, it looked absolutely disgusting, all pale and wrinkly and cracked and just not very pleasant. And I cooked it, it looked okay. It sort of went a light golden brown colour, didn't look very nice. It was quite dry and quite acidy. It tasted decent, but it was quite dry, and it was, yeah, it felt a bit kind of powdery in your mouth, which wasn't very pleasant. Balsamic vinegar actually sort of did the opposite of what I expected to. It kind of moistened the chicken. It didn't go dry like the rice vinegar did. It actually made it moister, which was completely the opposite of what I was expecting. And it literally fell apart in your mouth, which was so nice. It really fell apart and had that lovely sort of sweet and sort of acidy flavour of balsamic vinegar. So I enjoyed doing this, and I'm really happy with the results. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video and enjoyed my little sort of amateur experiment, me trying to get all scientific. I'm pleased with the results. I hope that you find it interesting and that you enjoy it. So let me know. Thank you.